88 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, organized labor, dozens of civil society organizations, as well as the media coalition against Galamsey, brace itself for massive showdown against government as it demands total ban on illegal mining in the country.
Our posture now for Wednesday's meeting is to be able to bring all of these civil society and call on who is the commander-in-chief of Ghana's military, who has the power to declare a state of emergency.
And as the hashtag No to Galamsey will bring you details as peasant farmers warns of imminent food crisis as illegal miners are forcing its members to sell their farmlands to them.
Unfortunately, we do not have enough irrigation schemes. So on that level, we are already at a loss. Now, we are adding the destruction of farmlands that are supposed to use for farming activities. We are losing that.
And finally, Christian Council demands government names and prosecute political exposed persons involved in Galamsey.
Also tonight on your election headquarters, the NDC top hierarchy, including flag bearer John Dramani Mahama, mobilizing supporters across the country to descend on EC offices across the country, demanding immediate forensic audit of the voter register.
NDC, you wear your T-shirt and you go and demonstrate to the EC office so that we can put pressure on them to do their job and do what they have to do to ensure peaceful and transparent elections.
Plus, the Asante Otunfo say to the second calls on political parties to build trust in the EC, but urges the need for vigilance.
So here again, I will appeal for a lowering of mistrust. Heightened vigilance is of course necessary, but we need to restore confidence between contesting political parties and candidates.
And you win and lose elections at the polling station. Make good use of your pink sheets. We'll get to hear from former Commissioner of the EC, Afarijan.
And in business, price of crude oil drops below $70 per barrel, a move that could come as good news for consumers in Ghana.
At the sports, former Ghana international Madame Ambu calls out Otoado over his recent performance, insisting that the team is on the wrong path under his guidance.
That and more, plus the Mental Health Authority raising the alarm over a sharp rise in suicide cases this year, reporting nearly double the number of incidents compared to the year 2023.
Other factors that around financial issues. I know these issues in our country nowadays, and as you rightly said, in low middle income countries, the rates are higher compared to the other part in this world.
That's and more coming up in tonight's edition of Newsnight. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We're on myjoyonline.com, Twitter Spaces, that's X Spaces, and then also on Facebook. The hashtag is Newsnight. Do join us with your thoughts, your comments at 055 11 997. I am Emefa Apau.
And my name is Evan Spence, and we start tonight on the war against illegal mining. Organized labor, dozens of civil society organizations, as well as a media coalition against illegal mining. They're gearing up for a massive showdown tomorrow to compel the president to deal decisively with the illegal mining menace.
Already, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, is also threatening a nationwide strike by the end of the month if the demand is not met. We've heard from Bono chiefs also giving government a 1-month ultimatum to deal with the situation. While the chorus joins that of the Ghana Medical Association, the Nurses and Midwifery Association, the Ghana Bar Association and others to push for decisive action from government. Well, last week, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo served notice of a major crackdown on Galamsey hotspots following disruption in water supply in Ashanti and Central regions.
We are going to have the review today, and I'm 1,000% certain, and I can give you the firm assurance that we're going to ramp up our enforcement measures. So all these places you are talking about, we're going to have a cleanup there. We're going to have a complete soup. We're going to send law enforcement agencies to take a soup of that whole stretch. And not just there, so many other places, particularly the central region. We're going to do that. You can be rest assured of that, and you can monitor that. As I say, Operation Halt has never been a continuous operation. It's always been a surgical one. And whenever we find that there's a particular place where there's a rise in illegal mining or there's a rise in activities and PDT and the rest, we move them in. We're going to conduct the review today, and within the next 24 hours, we're going to find the resources and move them.
Well, the issue is whether this particular announcement has been reassuring so far. Condemnation of the menace has been growing. The Asantehene Otumfo Seitu II says illegal mining is a major environmental threat and questioned the legal system's response to individuals who pollute water bodies. He's been speaking at a dinner last night with members of the Ghana Bar Association at the Menchia Palace.
Galamsey is an environmental enemy for the nation. What could be more serious for any people than to have the entire water supply system at risk?
Job.
I think as lawyers, you should find space during this conference to set up a panel to undertake a quick tour of the communities where this scourge is most prevalent, to see the extent of the crisis we face and hopefully deliberate on how the law should respond. As I see it, if an individual poisons the water supply of a community, you'll be liable for severe consequences under the law. What does the law do when one pours mercury into the same water supply, knowing fully well it can kill?
Jump.
This issue now requires the collective effort of all sections of society.
Jump.
To do nothing is no longer an option. The Bar Association, the Medical Association, and the universities, in particular my university, should get together and carve a new path to deal with this emergency. Yesterday, whilst I was driving from Cape Coast, in fact, going to Cape Coast, I stopped over at the River Pra. And it was, I'm afraid I have to tell you that what I saw, the river, it was so embarrassing. And then if as a nation we live for this to happen to us, I don't know. We have to fight this.
Job.
No matter what, we have to do that.
Job.
So that's the Asantehene Otumfo Seitu. Now, convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, is also demanding a state of emergency declared around river bodies ahead of that major meeting tomorrow.
This is that you notice that 2017, when we started the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, it was the media at the forefront. The same thing that you've seen in this couple where the media is leading. At this stage, we've gotten to the point where we can't have our critical stakeholders behind us anymore. So we are calling on, so we've engaged the forum of the labor unions, TUC, and the Ghana Labour Federation. All of them, we've engaged them because we want them to be guided. We've engaged the clergy. We've engaged the office of the chief imam. We've dealt with a lot of the CSOs themselves are also coming. Even the Small Scale Miners Association, we've engaged everybody because we believe that we currently are in a crisis. And the crisis response we need to get, we're not getting it. We've had several people call on this issue of the declaration of a state of emergency to be able to deal with a situation where in August, you have turbidity at the Heman water treatment plant being at 14,000 NTUs. When you should be talking about 5 NTUs, that should be treated down to 1 NTU. GWCL, their plant there is supposed to be treating 500 NTUs. They've pushed the tolerance level up to 2,000, but currently you're at 14,000. And this is crisis, and you don't get that urgency coming from anybody. Yeah. Neither from the president, neither from the leading opposition party, neither from the MPP's presidential candidate, even the Speaker of Parliament. When he spoke, they came into Parliament. Instead of them seeing that there was a crisis at hand, and what do we all do? All he did was, mention names and lament like the way you and I are lamenting. So now we believe that things ought to be done differently. So definitely our posture now for Wednesday's meeting is to be able to bring all of these civil society, other organized groups together and call on who is the commander-in-chief of Ghana's military, who has the power based on the constitution to declare a state of emergency, and who are being very specific over the water bodies and over the buffers to the water bodies.
Well, peasant farmers are now also warning of imminent food crisis as illegal miners are forcing their members, I'm talking about the Peasant Farmers Association, to sell their farmlands. Bismarck Norte is the president of the Peasant Farmers Association.
Yes, I can give you a scenario of a farmer who was approached by some of these galamseyers to sell his farm. The person refused. Now, what they do is that once the person refused, they try to convince his neighbors to sell their farm. So if the neighbors agree, to their compensation, then they take over neighboring farms around the farmer's farm. So eventually, the farmer is not able to move to his own farm because surrounding him, all those farms have been bought by the galamseers. Right. So eventually, he has to sacrifice his farm for these people. And that is what is going on. And you see, some of the farmers too, because of their states where maybe they need quick money, they are sometimes when they are approached, they actually agree to sell their farms, 1 acre, 2 acre, sometimes 10,000, sometimes 20,000 to these galamseers. And they promise them that after a period of time, after 5 years, 10 years, they'll revert the farmlands back to them. So if a farmer is desperate and he needs money, he or she will just let it go. On the other hand, if the farmer doesn't want to sell, but his neighboring farmers are he's in a fix. Because if you don't give your lands to them, the surrounding farms around you have all been bought. So you can't even move to your farm to go and do your farm activity.
Exactly.
So in this case, you've lost your farm and you've lost even revenue. So some are forced to sell the farm to them. And that's what is going on now.
We are dealing with the issue of droughts, where the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has announced a set of measures to contain the situation. Your position is that if we don't deal with illegal mining, what we will witness in the country in some few years to come will be worse than what drought is bringing us.
Absolutely. Because there are now a combination of factors that are contributing to ensuring that we have low production. Now, we are dealing with drought. We are dealing with the effect of climate change, when now reliability on the weather is no more a surety. Unfortunately, we do not have enough irrigation schemes. So on that level, we are already at a loss. Now, we are adding the destruction of farmlands that are supposed to use for farming activities. We are losing that.
We can now hear from the General Secretary of the Christian Council, Reverend Cyril Fayose. They are demanding that government names and prosecutes politically exposed persons involved in galamsey as part of the ways to make the practice unattractive.
So this is what we did some time ago, and the problem is still there with us because, as I said, the problem is more complex than sometimes we paint it to be.
So from your own analysis, what really is the issue here that is making it so difficult for us to take a step on this matter?
Well, a number of things. One is the involvement of the ordinary person. One is the involvement, and when I say the ordinary person, their livelihoods are involved. So a lot of people really are beginning to depend to live on this illegal mining. There are also a lot of big people, politically exposed people that are also behind some of these things. And unless they are prosecuted, they are named and shamed, I don't think we are going to make any headway. And the last one is that I think there should be a total ban, at least, if not a total ban, a moratorium for some time, so that we sit back and think about how to proceed. There are two ways to proceed. One is a total ban on small-scale mining, so that no one is allowed small-scale mining. Just as we don't allow anyone to mine in water bodies. There was a recent law that was passed, mining in forest reserves.
Exactly, an airline that was passed to give legal right to mine in forest reserves.
That should also be repealed. But the other thing is, if we cannot do a total ban on small-scale mining, at least the small-scale mining companies must be community-owned. I think there is a proposal like that in public circles that can be looked at, so that we can mine, and the mining should be owned by the community and should be done responsibly.
So that's the Christian Council General Secretary Cyril Fayose there speaking to Elton Brobe on the polls. Well, there were many who were calling for the Christian Council to speak on the matter. They have spoken now. We also heard the Ghana Bar Association yesterday on that matter. They're raising concerns about the politicization. Well, today we've been hearing from the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Starting tomorrow, I'm sure when we finish, we'll go through the timelines and what is going to happen. Labour has also joined, and we can hear from the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Kenneth Kumsing, on this particular matter. Thank you so much for your time here on Newsnight. I know that there are a number of things or activities lined up in protest against illegal mining. First, let's talk about what we should expect from organized labour starting tomorrow.
Well, so thank you very much. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, organized labour, which is constituted by formal sector, informal sector, workers across the country, we've all decided that this is the moment for us to take a decisive decision on the galamsey menace. So tomorrow morning we'll have a meeting to our statement officially for determining what should be the response from government going forward.
And the statement officially you talk about, what does it entail? Are there any specific issues or decisions that you're hoping that government will take when it comes to illegal mining?
Well, I think that on the 30th of August, the Ghana Water Limited issued a communique which indicated largely that the reason for the lack of supply of water to Elmina, Cape Coast, and its environs was associated with the activities of Galamsey. It went further to suggest that the turbidity ratio or level, which ordinarily you would record 2,000, is escalated to 14,000, and which obviously require a certain swift response from civil society organizations, trade unions across the country. The reason is simple. This is our life. This is our health. This is our destiny. And this is the future of our children and that unborn. So this is quite a very important matter on the agenda of organized labor. We want to make certain demands of government, for which reason we believe would protect the Ghanaian. You must also understand that the president has an obligation under the Constitution of Ghana to ensure that Ghanaians have right to life. The activities of Galamsey obviously threatens our life. And anybody who wants to politicize this matter, I'm sure is not in its right mental state. This is the state of emergency. It requires swift action. It requires presidential action. And you could see the desperation in the voice of the Asante-Hene when he was addressing the GBA. It's quite pathetic. So this is the reason we believe is the right time for us to make this statement. So we'll issue the statement tomorrow.
But I'm sure the criticism so far against Labour in particular is why now? The concern is you pile pressure today. What are we going to do to ensure sustenance of this particular pressure that you're hoping to pile on government?
Well, I think that there has been several communication position papers from different labor unions over the years, over the period. What is occasioning this magnitude of response is as a result of the official communication from the Ghana Water Company and all other voices concerned. I'm sure you yourself will attest that this issue of Galamsey has not gotten that hype to these levels as we are seeing it now. So it is not too late. We think this is the right moment to have a collective decision to ramp up support across the country, from the fisherman, cocoa farmer, from the street hawker, coming down to every Ghanaian should be concerned. Obviously, you understand that medically there's been reports of a series of dialysis as a result of contaminated water. Our forest is being decimated. The water body polluted. Lands are being left barren. It couldn't be any better occasion than this time. So just bear with us. After tomorrow, I'm sure the communication will be firm. The communication will be strong. And I believe that organized labor will follow up with decisions if government fails to take decision or action to protect Ghanaians.
We're grateful for your time. That's Kenneth Kumsing there. He's the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Kenneth Kumsing. And of course, we'll be following actions that we'll be taking starting tomorrow, both on the labour front and also on the part of the media coalition against illegal mining.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants (CIMA) and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants (AICPA), together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. German Ozone Medical Center, alternative therapy, dental, wellness and beauty. Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development.
And indeed, this is your election headquarters, and I want to take you to Wale Wale because it's been boiling since yesterday when the rerun there, the parliamentary primary rerun for the MPP turned violent. And as we know, the ballot box was snatched, the police had to step in, warning shots were fired. As it is tonight, the party isn't certain how they're going to resolve this, but they're running out of time, 72 hours before the EC closes the filing of nominations. We are delighted to say we can now bring in the Hajia Lariba, who is incumbent member of parliament for the particular constituency, and she joins us on the line right now. We've seen a statement on this particular matter, and it appears from what we're reading that she may just have decided to step aside.
And the statement says, following the inconclusive rerun of the parliamentary primary in the Wale Wale constituency yesterday, with the Electoral Commission unable to declare a result as a result of an unfortunate incident, I have decided that in the interest of the greater good of the new Patriotic Party and peace and unity in the Wale Wale constituency, I will no longer be a candidate for MP in the 2024 elections. I am therefore formally withdrawing from the race. It goes on to thank the party, amongst others. It's signed Lariba Zuwaira Abudu, Honorable MP, Wale Wale constituency.
Madame Ambu, can you confirm if this is indeed your position as we speak tonight?
Yes, please. I think I released a statement.
And what changed? What caused you to take the decision?
As the statement, as I heard Sarah reading the statement, just for the sake of the party and unity of the constituency, we need to embrace peace. 7 months down the lane, we have been traumatized within the constituency, so it's better at least we give peace a chance. So that's why I decided to issue the statement.
Were you forced to issue the statement?
They should have, if actually I should have been forced a long time. No, nobody forced me. And you realize what happened yesterday. It was inconclusive. They didn't declare. They didn't even count. But how long can we continue to be doing this within the party and the constituency? They need somebody to represent them. And I have had the opportunity to represent them. And if somebody is coming or I'm going again and there are issues, at least I'm very mature. I should know where and when and why I'm doing this. So I've decided that I wouldn't go again.
Maybe doing this in the interest of peace, like you say, but are you happy to actually take this decision?
Why not? If I'm not happy, I wouldn't have released the statement. I'm happy. I've thought, I've reflected, I thought over it, and that's why I came out with the statement.
The elections happened yesterday. Yesterday, you were hoping to have won this. 48 hours on, less than that, in fact, 28 hours on, you are happy to just let go. It's hard to believe that this is something that you have taken without party's influence and trying to cajole you into taking the decision.
I don't think so. Nobody can influence me, and nobody can force me to do this. We have gone to court. I took the 27th January. We went to court, and they granted rerun, and the same incident again happened. So why should I hold my party ransom because somebody felt that he should be a candidate? So I just decided that no, I will let it go and let peace prevail. So nobody has influenced me.
Have you spoken to the vice president?
No.
He's not called you since yesterday?
He hasn't called me.
Have you called him?
I haven't spoken because maybe I don't want to talk to him. I sent the letter to the general secretary. He is our general secretary for the party, so he's the one I sent the letter to. The vice president never called me. He should have stopped me long, but normally that's the problem. You always want to put vice president. And I'm also a party person, so it's not good always say vice president. No.
Hearing you, it sounds like it's not a good relationship between yourself and the vice president.
Oh, really? I don't think so, Sarah. Don't say that.
You think
stepping down means you don't have a good relation with somebody?
You think you should have done more when you had these issues in the constituency?
The vice president?
Yes.
Why? What do you think he should have done?
To try.
Tell me. It was a free run for everybody. He didn't force anybody to come out and contest. So why should he force somebody?
Considering that you are the sister, as we are told, and then his advisor is contesting
I'm happy that you are saying that you are told.
Are you?
Okay.
Are you not?
I don't know. You are telling me, Sarah.
You are not related to the vice president in any way?
I don't know. You are the one saying it.
At least you can clarify that. You have the opportunity to do so.
Why not? within while everybody is a sister or a brother. It doesn't matter.
So it's not a biological
Kabiru
relationship.
is my cousin. Do you know that?
You're telling me?
Yes. So that is it. So everybody's related one way or the other. So it's just Sarah, you are also my relation, right?
It's MFI here. Sarah spoke to you earlier.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
We're not done yet.
Just very briefly.
No, there are a lot of people are here.
Very briefly. For Tia Kabiru, will you be supporting him?
Your call has been put on hold.
We lost him there because that is an important point to clarify. Now that,
and then also whether she will remain in the party, considering that we are having a lot of independent candidates coming up as a result of this particular concerns that have been raised in the party. Will she remain, in the party, or she will contest as an independent candidate? These are questions that we are hoping that she would answer. But unfortunately, she's let us go.
Yeah, and that is an important point. She insists that she did this willingly, and she's happy about it. The party, just on Top Story, had said that they were waiting for a report. The man who was authoring that report, Masaudu Osman, said to me that in his report, he was going to tell the party that they should actually press for a recount.
Yes.
Of the ballot stand, that he's convinced that one person will emerge victorious at the end of the day, and that the number of ballot papers spoiled in the process will not affect the outcome, and that was going to be his report to the party. The party was waiting for that particular report, then they'll take a decision on this in the next 24 hours. But as we've just been speaking, if you're just joining us, some breaking news story from Wale Wale tonight. The Honorable Lariba Abudu has withdrawn from this particular contest, and by the way, she's still the incumbent member of parliament for that particular area in Wale Wale. This is still your election headquarters. A key question remains whether or not now she would go into the campaign back the candidate left in the race. Tia Kabiru, we'll wait to see how that unfolds. Let's from the MPP, let's go to the NDC.
And the hierarchy of the NDC is mobilizing supporters to march to all EC offices across the country. Why? We know that the NDC yesterday, after filing nominations for the party's presidential candidate at the EC headquarters here in Accra, declared a mass demonstration against the Electoral Commission come Tuesday, September 17. While the protest, according to the party, is aimed at piling pressure on the EC to heed their call for an independent forensic audit of the current provisional voter register. The NDC says the voter roll, if rife, with irregularities, including illegal transfer of votes. That's their concern. But first, let's listen to the NDC's national chairman, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, make that announcement yesterday.
It's about missing BVRs and all that, which I cannot, enumerate here. And you, the media people, were with some of our people who intercepted and retrieved one of the stolen BVRs. BVDs. So far, we don't have any response. We don't have any feedback as to how the progress is being made on the case involving those who allegedly have been arrested here at your commission and so on. This all generates some amount of, cloud suspicion and all that. And so, those of you who have been asking us, if they don't comply, what would you do? This is your answer. On the 17th of this month, the NDC is embarking on a massive nationwide demonstration in all 16 regional capitals. Descend on the Electoral Commission offices, and we in Accra will descend to the headquarters and present further petitions as to why we think that they should conduct themselves in a manner that will guarantee peaceful, free, and fair elections.
Well, and that is getting the backing and full support of the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, on tour in the Bono region. He says he marshaled all party supporters to join the protest scheduled for next Tuesday.
NDC is going to demonstrate in every town that has an EC office. Our chairman has announced it. NDC, you wear your T-shirt and you go and demonstrate to the EC office so that we can put pressure on them to do their job and do what they have to do in order to ensure peaceful and transparent elections.
Well, that's a John Dramani Mahama there, mobilizing across the country now. The NDC is doing on the Tuesday, 17th of September. They'll hit the streets and march onto EC offices across the country, demanding that the EC conduct a forensic audit to the voters' roll. We'll be hearing from the National Peace Council. They've been trying to engage to try and find a resolution to this. And today, by the way, MFA, the Electoral Commission was scheduled to address a news conference. It was widely expected that they will be addressing the issues as the NDC had laid out before the public, but that has been rescheduled now. We don't know when, but as and when we get it, we will bring that to you too.
Well, but we've been hearing from the Asantehene Otumfuose to also the former EC commissioner on this. Asantehene first is asking all political parties to build trust in the Electoral Commission ahead of the polls. He also acknowledges the need for vigilance as well. In his encounter or last night, the dinner for the GBA Association, he mentioned, or touching on this particular protest that has been announced by the NDC, mentioned that even though vigilance is important, they're hoping that there will be much more collaboration between the political parties and the EC.
However much one may distract the individuals in charge of the electoral process at any given time, it has been demonstrated that changes will occur in spite of the individual operatives. The evidence of our history is that the system does produce the outcome that reflects the voice of the people, and we remain ready, as always, to play our part to protect the integrity of the process when the need arises. So here again, I will appeal for a lowering of mistrust. Heightened vigilance is of course necessary, but we need to restore confidence between contesting political parties and candidates in the Electoral Commission. Would it not have been a good idea to have invited the candidates of the two major political parties to this conference to seek their commitment to the nation on the pursuit of peaceful campaign and the use of due process for the resolution of any unforeseen incidents?
That's the Asantehene Otumfuose to the second. We can also hear from the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kwadwo Afari-Gyan, asking political parties participating in this upcoming polls to exercise caution when dealing with pink sheets. Nana Boache Dankwa has more in the following report.
Dr. Afari-Gyan spoke on the subject, peaceful, fair and transparent elections, the key to sustainable democracy, at the annual conference of the Ghana Bar Association in Kumasi. The former chairperson of the Electoral Commission admonished political parties to uphold the country's democratic credentials in conduct of the December 7 general election. He emphasized the need to prevent confusion in the declaration of the presidential and parliamentary results by making good use of the EC's pink sheets at the various polling stations.
The pink sheets are the most important, the only source documents for reconstructing election results. Please take it from me that the pink sheets are the most important, if you like, the source documents for reconstruction of election results. See, that's what we mean when we say elections are won or lost at the polling station. That's what it means. Now, those pink sheets, duly executed, all right? Authentic and duly executed. They are the source document for reconstructing election results. So my friendly advice to you is that if you don't have authentic, duly executed pink sheets, as we say in Ghana, please think twice before you go to court.
But you must be wondering why the sheets containing a summary of election results are called pink sheets. This is the explanation given by Dr. Afari-Gyan.
Pink sheets. Pink sheets. Thanks to Obechebi Lamte. Pink sheets. You know Obechebi Lamte is the one who gave the name pink sheets. You don't? Oh, you see, the practice in the Electoral Commission was to print them in different color for different elections. All right? So this year we printed them in green. maybe you were able to put some of them in your pocket for use next time. So next time we print them in red. So that year we printed them in pink. All right? So when he went to court, he called them pink sheets. And now they've become, it's fine, it's all right, it's nice. Pink is a very nice color.
For Joy News, Nana Bwachidam Kumasi.
And here's a live your news night. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more in the election headquarters right after George is done with business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans, and the price of crude oil drops below $70 per barrel for the first time since December 2021. A move that could come as good news for consumers here in Ghana. And Agric Minister Dr. Barney Champon assures a commitment to deal with challenges facing the cocoa sector as government gets ready to announce new cocoa prices for the next crop season. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, St. Stanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal. Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the price of crude oil has dropped below $70 per barrel for the first time since December 2021. But what would this mean for consumers in Ghana in the coming days? There's more in this report.
Oil price has been on the rise in recent times, inching up to $81 per barrel. However, it has been on a downward trend, hitting a new level. Bloomberg, for instance, quoted $69 per barrel just a few hours ago. This development can be likened to the disappointing economic data from China, which will impact demand for crude oil in the coming months. Also, the Organization of Oil-Producing Countries' attempts to manipulate the markets through production cuts may have backfired. Some market watchers have told Joy Business that the country could witness further reductions in the coming days. This may significantly impact the prices of finished petroleum products, potentially resulting in reduction at the pumps if the trend is sustained.
And that is a business desk report. Meanwhile, the chief executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivison Opon, had earlier told Joy Business that the expected reduction will be dependent on the city's performance in the coming days.
Forex is the issue, and I always start from there because the taxes, levies, and stuff are constant. They don't change so frequently. Plat price either will be constant or come down. Per what I've researched into because of the seasons, okay? At the same time, members are not ready to increase their margins, so I don't see any issue there. No, I'm serious about that. Well, because we are going to December very soon. People are going to travel. I mean, consumption will increase in this era. It's always the case. Okay? So I believe that if plat price, which is going to go down or even remain the same, if that's the case, the next window, we should have a lower price. If the forex is not activated.
Dr. Rivison Opon is the chief executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. The co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industry and Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiao, is warning that the country's oil industry could collapse in the next 15 years. Now, that's if government fails to attract or bring in the required investment into that sector. Dr. Mantiao maintains that the current development in the country raises a lot of questions about the sector's outlook.
If you don't add to your reserves and continue to exploit the existing reserves, of course, there comes a time when the reserves begin to decline. And in the petroleum industry, we describe that pace of the production as peaking. The Jubilee lifespan was projected to be anything between 25 to 30 years. So if you've already taken about 14 years out of 25 years, then you have about how many? 9 years or so to exhaust the reserves, and you can do a 30-year lifespan, then of course about 14 years. It means about 50% of the oil in Jubilee. The reason we've not been able to attract additional investments to be able to explore and also to bring new projects on stream is partly the results of challenges that I know the Ministry of Energy is very much aware of. First is the size of our blocks.
Co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiao. Now, the Greek Minister, Dr. Barney Champon, has given the firm assurance that government is working to deal with the numerous challenges facing the cocoa sector. It follows concern the sector could collapse due to the lack of investment and the impact of illegal mining activities on the sector. Dr. Champon maintains that government will not sit on concern to address the concerns or challenges facing the sector.
We have challenges in the sector largely last year because of El Nino. Galamsey is a problem for the industry. Production numbers are going down, but we did a rehabilitation program and brought on board about 50,000 hectares of cocoa land. We have put in $200 million under the Tree Crops Development Agency to help revive the industry. It's a tree crop. It takes time, but the sector is not going to collapse. There's a lot of politics around cocoa that, obfuscates in the minds of people or exaggerates the challenges that the organization is facing. It's not perfect. Not on its knees as people want us to believe. The whole world, everybody is struggling. But COCOBOD is doing okay. It can do better, and everything that we are doing in the retooling of COCOBOD, I'm very, very confident that it will yield results.
Dr. Brian Champon is the Greek minister. Meanwhile, government is getting ready to announce the new cocoa prices for the next crop season. It is currently locked up in meeting with the various players in the industry, and that they will decide on the price that they will buy a ton of cocoa as well as a bag in the years going for the next 1 year. Still on this sector, let's hear from Obedo Usu Adai. He's the coordinator of the Ghana Society Cocoa Platform, who actually is arguing that they want the right prices to be set for the next crop season.
We know the COCOBOD is in a very difficult position. Actually, we don't envy them at all, because we are seeing our production levels go down while the price is going up. And they have been running at a loss for several years, and this would have been the appropriate season to make up for some of the lost revenues. But unfortunately, farmers are also demanding higher prices, not because we just want to demand, but we are looking at our neighbors. When you go to Togo right now, Togo is paying not less than 7,000 per bag, 7,000 Ghana cedis per bag. When you go to Nigeria, you go to Cameroon, you go to Madagascar, they are all paying not less than 8,000 Ghana cedis for a bag of cocoa. But we know that our situation is different from that of those African countries, because in our case, COCOBOD supports us with certain services that we are required to pay for. And so we understand. But looking at the numbers, we think that the worst, and please listen to my words very carefully, the worst that we are expecting from COCOBOD will be 3,500.
Obedo Usada is the coordinator of the Ghana Society Cocoa Platform. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Jennifer.
Wow, I'm told it's raining heavily out there.
Heavily, yes, it's really heavily out there.
Thank you. Well, Musbao, drenched in the rain, has joined us in the studios with the latest from the world of sports. We'll also get to hear from workers of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Musbao, they're asking that they pay them their per diems. That's in outstanding during the African Games. Well, we'll talk about it after Musbao gives us the latest from the world of sports.
Well, just some update following the Black Stars' performance against Angola and Niger in the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers, where they failed to pick a win in those qualifiers. Former Black Stars international Madame Ambu is the one who has raised concern over the team's performance, insisting that based on these recent performances, the team is likely to be heading in the wrong path.
I don't think where we are going now is in the right direction. From finals to group stages, and now trying hard to qualify from a group like ours, I think things are getting tougher for us.
That's former Ghana international Ajiman Bedu. However, head coach Otuado has been speaking even about the games against Sudan come October, which insists is a must-win if Ghana want to qualify for the tournament.
We have to win. There's no way around that. We have to win. If we want to have the chance to qualify for the AFCON, we have to win. We are under pressure. This for sure, and we have to do better and not allowing to cheap goals. And yeah, like I said, I'm disappointed. We didn't learn the lessons from the first game. Now, as a set piece, we're all back. We need to defend this better. This is for sure. And yeah, like I said, we're really disappointed. But surely it's still in our own hands, so we can do something about it. But we have to win the next game.
MFA, that's what we have for you in sports.
Well, thank you very much, Musbal, with the latest from the world of sports.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development.
And indeed, this is your election headquarters. I want to take you back to Wale Wale because, as you've heard already, a major developing story on this breaking in the last 30 minutes. The incumbent member of parliament has now withdrawn her interest in that particular contest, and so we now have one man standing. Tia Kabiru. I want to bring in Henry Nanabwache, who is a MPP national organizer and joins us on the line right now. We spoke to him just about an hour ago. At the time, we're not pretty sure. The party wasn't sure what they were going to do about this. We're going to be running out of time. Now they know one of the candidates had pulled away the incumbent member of parliament. Nanabwache, thanks for your time here on the News Night. Pretty quickly,
thank you very much, Evans.
We had a confirmation that clearly lays the path as far as settling this and sending a candidate to the Electoral Commission before close of day Friday is concerned.
Yes, thank you very much, Evans. I mean, this is, for me, a glorious moment for our party in Wale Wale, and we are so grateful to Honorable Lariba. I mean, this is awesome. We just got a news a few moments ago that she's withdrawn from the race, and it paves way for us to have a very concrete decision tomorrow. Because clearly we had a challenge. And for us, tomorrow, I mean, this will give us that clear path to make sure that we have a very good decision tomorrow. So for me, it's a glorious moment for the new Patriotic Party in Wale Wale, and I will commend Madame Lariba highly for what she's done for the party. I mean, this is enormous, and we are grateful to her.
And you are waiting for a report from the constituency, and the meeting was scheduled tomorrow. Will that still happen?
Yeah, it's still going to happen because we still have some other discussion. Apart from this, although this was a main issue we're going to discuss, we had some few other matters for discussion tomorrow. We have tabled some few matters. So we're still going to go ahead with tomorrow's meeting. And the outcome, certainly, I'll speak to you again tomorrow when we are done.
And very quickly, the National Democratic Congress is, as you know, is unhappy with the Electoral Commission. They are hitting the streets across the country next week, Tuesday. It's within their rights to do so. What's the position of the MPP on this and the concerns around the voters' register?
It is, but Evans, I think that the former president, frankly speaking, is gaining and some unwholesome notoriety for always unleashing comments that seek to create mayhem. I mean, this is for me needless, and it's a reckless call. Why do I say so? I say so because that is the essence of exhibition of voter register. What is important is that you go through it. If you are able to ascertain any anomaly, any irregularities, what you do is that you forward these concerns to the Electoral Commission. An Electoral Commission is bound by its work to make sure that everything is corrected. So for me, I mean, this call is for me needless. And we've gone through this process several times. That is the essence of exhibition. So if you have issues, if you have challenges with the voter register in some places, what you do is that you table these concerns before the Electoral Commission for some solutions to be preferred. But for you to say that, look, you are going to demonstrate in all the EC district offices and saying that the EC is planning to rig the elections for the new Patriotic Party. I mean, this is very much unfortunate. It's so reckless. And I think this should not be coming from the former president, frankly speaking. It should not be coming from him at all. If you have concerns, I mean, the EC is a constitutionally mandated body to handle these matters, deal with them. There is that platform. They've created that platform. And for me, that is a concern. I've had some few issues from our own party people saying that when they went to check, they had issues. Some said that his name was moved to one polling station. All that you have to do is that you correct these things. You petition the Electoral Commission or you notify them. They are going to correct.
And very quickly, so you are happy with the register as it is?
No, I'm not saying I'm happy. No, I mean, there are issues with it. I've just told you that I've even had concerns from some few people.
But you're happy with the way the EC has addressed them?
That is the more reason why they've taken this process through the exhibition stage. So you look at it, if you have problems, deal with the Electoral Commission. But this public outburst, this unfortunate, when you mount a stage and you want to launch an attack on the Electoral Commission, especially when you say that the Electoral Commission intends to rig the elections for the new Patriotic Party. Look, nobody can rig these elections. The new Patriotic Party will win these elections, and we are going to win with our superior track record. I've been traveling throughout the nation, and I'm telling you, people have bought into our message. They understand the project. We have brought development closer to the people. Everywhere I go, every constituency, you see the footprint of the new Patriotic Party.
Well, and the voters will give us the actual verdict on election day. And thank you very much for your time. Just run out of time on this 7 p.m. now on News Night. And Hernana Boache is the MPP national organizer there on the impending protest, nationwide protest by the NDC on the 17th of September. And that's it for News Night on NMFR.
Well, there's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We have the Geek Squad. It's a Tuesday. You'll join us shortly.